Hello there, my name is Anthony Barokas with AIBA Communications, and today I have a very cool tool. I have this keyboard with a built-in LCD screen. I purchased this with my own money off of Amazon. Nobody sent it to me. Nobody's sponsoring this review. Nobody has any involvement. I thought this would be a really cool integration of two things that I've been looking to sort of simplify, and so this is my own personal thoughts based on my limited use of this, having just got it a couple days ago, and I wanted to share my experiences, and that's it. Today I'm going to be looking at this keyboard. I would say Phi chip, except the H and the I are reversed, so it's Phi or Phi Chi Hip. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but this is the multifunctional touch keyboard, and as you can see, it is a USB keyboard, and it comes with a USB-C, comes with a USB-C to A and HDMI. It works with Mac PC, it works with computers, it works with phones over USB-C. This is a very capable little tool, and the coolest thing is the LCD screen that is built into the top half is a touch screen. So you can put whatever you want up here and then you can act on it, which I feel is perfect for content producers and video producers who normally use external control surfaces to control vMix or Wirecast or any app you want to control. By being able to have that external functionality right here in the top of the screen, I think is a fantastic feature, and it's all on one little USB-C cable. Oh, and by the way, it's also a USB hub because there's always more things to plug in. And right now I am using the USB-A, two USB-A's plus HDMI. So it's this three-way thing, to USB-C that goes into the keyboard. And as you can see, it's up and running. I have the second display from the computer. I have the vMix control on here, and I am able to use it as a touchscreen and as a regular typing keyboard. Another thing to note is this keyboard has backlighting. So if it's extremely dark, there's backlighting that you can change the color on. It's RGB. You can change the backlighting, and you can make sure you can always see the keys. Now, I've tested this. It's not as bright as I would like it to be. The keys are not as see-through, so it's got to be really dark in order for you to see the letters. You almost see the glow around the keys more than you see the glow through the keys through the letter. That's just the way they've built it. There are two versions of this. This version has a very flat scissor key kind of thing. There's also a big clacky key, sort of like a gamer type of keyboard. I prefer the flatter keys. I don't like to be making a lot of typing sounds while I'm typing, and I like the shorter throw. But there are two versions of this available, so if you prefer that, you can get that. If you prefer this, you can get this. Both of them have the same screen at the top. Both of them have the same USB-C and the other functionality. It's just they've changed the keyboard and the numeric keypad out so that you could have that difference in how you would like to type. But again, the marquee feature on this is the touch screen, and it is 1920 across by 515 pixels. So it's not very tall, but it is tall enough for you to build a custom interface for whatever keys you need to use for your program of choice. So, hey, it could be Photoshop, it could be anything, and you could have that all as a touch interface at the top. It could be dials, it could be levers, it could be sliders, it could be anything you want, and that is the beauty of this. I've tried other control surfaces. I have a StreamDeck. I actually have two StreamDecks. I've tried other Bluetooth numeric keypads and things like that, and yeah, you can go through and you can program each of those things and program each of the keys. But the beauty of what I've done here is I have hooked vMix up to the keyboard, and I have to say it's very interesting what can be done. Now, I haven't built a custom panel for this, and there's lots you can do with custom panels. Elgato has software that you can build custom buttons and lay them out and everything. But what I have done is I have loaded the web controller that's built into vMix and put the web page right here. And see if I can bring this back over here, and then we can make this full screen, and then we can make it full screen. There we go. And then, like I was doing before, I was dragging this up a little bit, so now I should be able to, like, I have my output, my input, I should say cut, and it cuts. I go to 2, ready, cut. There it goes. You can see if I scroll down, there's the vMix interface up there, and if I just scroll up a little bit there, then I get my quick play, cut, fade, drag this slider along the bottom, and get to other inputs, because I do have a lot of inputs in this show. I apparently have 55. Now, the problem is when you get that far, you can't be getting your cube, zoom, cut, fade. Now, I normally program my spacebar and enter to be transitions, but I am in a different window. I am not in my main vMix window, which is over there. That is now set to the background. So if I hit the spacebar, it's not going to do anything. Whereas if I move my cursor back over and I reactivate, you see that red bar at the top of the screen, I reactivate vMix, now the keyboard portion of this is going to work. I can now use the keyboard to transition between the things, and that's sort of a catch-22 within vMix. Your typing keyboard can only be your control surface if the main vMix window is at the forefront. Now, this window up here is a web browser interface, and if the web browser is in the forefront, then that means vMix is in the background, and then me hitting the spacebar is being sent to the web browser, which doesn't go to vMix, and that's sort of a catch-22. These are my inputs 1 through 18. So if you put everything you need to really switch between from 1 to 18, then you are basically ready to go. These are all, let's see what I have. I have 8 callers, and these are my overlays. So this is overlay 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I have a title, I don't have any titles lined up, but 11. If I wanted to have 11 come up over top of my video, there it goes, 11's over top of my video, and then 11 is off. So I can turn on 1, 2, 3, 4 overlays, and have all those overlays going at the same time. I have video 13 playing, and then turn them off individually. So I have individual control of my overlays as well as the individual control of my sources for program and preview. Now over here you have a power button. If you press and hold it, it'll turn off the screen. I guess uses less power, but technically the screen is actually still connected. The computer does not make a sound saying a screen has been detected, and it doesn't move the windows that were on this external screen over to the main screen. So as far as it's concerned, the screen is connected. I think it just turns off the display. I press it again, it brings it back up, 2, 3, and here we are. You can see 1920 by 515 at 60 Hertz. And if I press it, just this plus button, you can see I can turn the backlight up and down, so I can make this appropriate for my environment. And then if I press this quickly, I get a menu. So here you can see I'm able to adjust brightness, contrast, put it in eco mode, sharpness, backlight. Let's go down. Next, I can adjust the color temperature, which for a control surface, I honestly don't care, but you actually can go in here and change your red, green, and blue capabilities. You can put out a cool color temperature, you can put a warm color temperature. That's up to you. Then you can come down here, change the language that this menu is in, on-screen display timer. The minimum is 10 seconds. You can actually make it longer. You can change the transparency. That was 10 seconds. You could adjust the blue light, reset everything, and then the LEDs. I've changed the LEDs to be, let's go in here, I've changed them to be white, but you can auto, it'll cycle through, off if you don't want them, red, green, blue, and white. So you really don't have the ability to dial it in exactly where you want it to be, but hey, that's better than nothing. And a backlighting is better than not having backlighting. And that is it for the built-in menu of this keyboard. Keyboard has a settings menu. Yes, it does. But that is because it also has this fantastic touchscreen display in the keyboard. Here I have the ability to adjust my audio inputs, and I can bring them up like that. That's the music playing right now. I can bring the music down, bring it down a little more. There we go. So now it's playing at a nice background level, and that way when I bring up the audio, it'll automatically play. So if you wanted to, one of the key things is you could use this secondary display for audio and then use your main display just for all of your video inputs, thereby giving you the ability to make use of this second touchscreen for adjusting audio when you needed to with your fingers, and then have the main display able to show you more sources. Like right there, I've got 8 callers coming in, and that way you have that second display, but that second display is with your keyboard, which you were going to bring anyway. So you don't have to set up a second monitor, it's down here. And like I said, the flexibility of being able to use this for audio, for shortcuts, for, hey, if you want to have a separate little area and be looking at the feed as it goes to YouTube or wherever, you can have that open and just sitting there in the little corner so you can watch, just have a little confidence that there it is, it's still going. You're looking at it coming back from the actual destination. That's handy too. And again, it's all coming through that one USB cable that is also your keyboard, your display, your power, everything. I will say that this HDMI with dual USB, it works most of the time. It works pretty good. When I tested it with my very basic laptop, I had 0 issues. When I tested it with vMix on the gaming laptop, sometimes the USB would disconnect for a moment and then connect right back again. It may have been because I had all of this going on, because on my basic laptop, the HDMI and 2 USB ports were right next to each other. That was great. On my gaming laptop, they're not. The HDMI is on one side of the display, and by itself, it's a 17.9 inch. This is not enough space to get all the way across the laptop. So I had to extend the HDMI to go to the other side of the laptop and then plug these in. So this may have been this extension may have been part of the problem. If you have a 15 inch, I don't think that's going to be an issue. If you have 13 inch, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But I have a hunkin' big gaming laptop, 17 point whatever, so I have a 18.5 inch bag. It's big. I like it because of the big display, but the big display does cause issues in terms of getting things to reach both sides of the laptop. So be aware of that if you yourself utilize a very large gaming laptop and your HDMI is isolated from numerous USBs. If they're all on the same side, you're good. If they're not all on the same side, then getting these cables to reach both sides of the display on a very large laptop, that's going to be an issue. I am still using the double USB-A to C, and when I had just one of them connected, I had no USB connectivity on, no touchscreen capability. So you need to have both of them connected. And even still, I'm not getting as fluid a response to the touchscreen as I would like with this other laptop. Now, this other laptop does have USB-C, which is also Thunderbolt, and I use Thunderbolt for my interface. So it would be a constraint to use USB-C to C, have full power, have full connectivity, but then I would lose the ability to access the Thunderbolt for I/O into this laptop. So you need to be aware of that in terms of having connectivity. A to C does work, but in this case, I'm not seeing as smooth functionality as I was seeing with the very basic laptop I just tried. for demonstration purposes, what I've done now is I've captured the screen of vMix, which is going to a second laptop, and then via HDMI into my recorder, and I have this being coming in via my overhead camera. So let's go to a picture by picture, and here, so you can still see this, and there is a screen over there. So what is that, 13? If I go to video 13, it comes up in preview, and then when I say cut, you can see it cut there. And then when I say go to my multi-view, which is, let's go to the 14, so we go to 14, and then we say cube zoom, whoosh, there's my cube zoom, and then we want to go to color 8, so we say 8, and then we say cube zoom, and then let's just say, let's go back, let's cut back to that. Let's see, let's just say one of those in that multi-view there is the caller, so let's go to 2, and then we could do a merge, and that person gets brought forward, and then we wanted to put them back into the multi-view. We hit merge back, they go back in. This is a project that I built for a show. Nobody is connected. I had 8 callers, so there's no callers that are connected, and so you have to like understand what would be the sources. But I wanted to quickly demonstrate that with 0 programming, I literally just open up the web interface or the web shortcuts from vMix onto the second display of this laptop or of this keyboard here, and with that I am able to quickly get into the show and say, okay, ready, we're going to go with the video, cue the video up right here, and fade to video. And there's the video, and the video starts playing and the music is playing. If you wanted to use a custom panel builder, you could build just the buttons you want for just the sources you want, and then you can put that in a corner of the screen and also have the ability to add audio controls to that as well. Again, this is a touch screen, so you're able to directly interact on this and make things happen. And that is the beauty of this keyboard, is that I could have a control surface of my choosing in addition to my keyboard, which I have to bring anyway, and it all comes on one cable. So it simplifies the cabling, it simplifies the desktop, because this is one thing, and it's actually a nice large display. So it's a full 1920 across, and I believe it's 513 tall. So it's not very tall. You can see the bottom part of this is just bezel. So this is the active area right here, but you know, it is glossy, so you're going to have fingerprints start to appear on it. You can't, if I tilt it a little bit like this, you can see fingerprints are going to happen. But being able to do that, boop, done. And let's do that one, merge to that, zoop, and go to video 13. Let's do a cube zoom, zoop, and we go to this video, cube zoom, zoop, and that is just very, very cool, very, very handy. And I have to say, I am very impressed with this, the build, the quality of the screen, the quality of the keyboard, and the functionality that this delivers to me as a producer without cluttering up my table with other things. I have this, and I can customize this display to however I want. So this display is very impressive. The backlighting on the keys, they're not big chunky clickety-clack type of keys, and this display lets me do whatever I want. An alternative to this, which I was also looking at, is the Cherry keyboard, and this you'll see at a lot of point of sale and everything. So each of these covers comes off, and you can put your own buttons on here, and I have seen these used for vMix, but you have to program each of these keys using the Cherry controller to assign what is this keystroke. So if you just want this to be tilde and this one to just be, you know, you could use all of the different option characters, and there are 256 characters, and there's 256 more, or 128 characters and 128 more characters here. You can program those, and then in your vMix you assign the pound symbol, the British pound symbol is this key. Well, the British pound symbol is also going to affect this thing, and then you program all your keys. And that's also great if you're doing a regular show and you don't need to change anything, which is why these are used for point of sale, because you put all that stuff in and it doesn't change. The burger's always this much. This, oh, you ordered a number 2. There, number 2. And you have the keyboard and you've got a trackpad in this, which is also handy. You don't need a separate mouse. So you technically have all your functionality in this one keyboard. But the thing is, in terms of, you have to, you know, again, program the keyboard, and then you have to program the keystrokes into your application to do what you wanted to do, or build all those shortcuts. What I'm doing here is I'm not doing any of that programming at all. I'm not programming the keyboard, and I'm not programming vMix. I'm literally just bringing up that web controller and putting it up here. Or if I want to, I can put an audio controller, which you're going to be hard pressed to, you have to create a bunch of scripting to get a button to bring the volume up on number 1 or bus A, as long as you're holding it down. Then you have to repeat the thing for as long as I'm holding it. It can get kind of complex, whereas having this functionality, I think, is very nice for the price, and it is not terribly expensive. I mean, a StreamDeck is going to be $150. This was, I think, around $350. So this is the cost of 2 StreamDecks plus tax and shipping, and it has the space of 2 StreamDecks. It certainly has the buttons of 2 StreamDecks right now, and I have to say I am very impressed with this capability, and it all comes on one cable. So with that, I'll make them over here. My name is Anthony Barocas for AIBA Communications. Thanks for watching.